Watertown City Council member Cliff Olney had the chance to defend himself before an ethics board Monday evening, but decided not to. 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning tells us why.
Councilmember Cliff Olney was not happy about a closed-door Watertown Board of Ethics meeting Monday evening.
I am disappointed that this ethics hearing happened today.
A second meeting was granted by City Council in August, meant to give Olney a chance to defend himself against a complaint made by former Mayor Jeff Smith. He was accused of making private information public. Olney says he was going to attend until he heard the meeting would be an executive session.
I had said to everyone here the night that we talked about this, that I wanted this to be open and transparent so that the public could see what was suggested at that particular first meeting. And what today's meeting showed me was that there was not going to be that kind of a process.
Without him there, the board held up its September 2023 recommendation that Olney had violated city code and general municipal law.
The evidence clearly convinces board of significant fiduciary duty violation of the city.
Before reading the decision, Ethics Board member Stephen Jennings made it known the Ethics Board is not a court or hearing entity.
We're an ethics board that just makes advisory opinions and give those to City Council, and they then have the responsibility to try and hear anybody that we make a recommendation on.
Councilmember Robert Kimball, who was at the public portion of the ethics meeting, says he hopes the city can move forward with the process.
I would anticipate that at our next regular meeting that we could bring forth a resolution to move forward with the appropriate hearing on the ethics complaint at that time.
Olney says he sent information to the New York Conference of Mayors for an official opinion on the situation and is waiting for a letter. He says he thinks the Ethics Board should not have met until that opinion was given. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.